Hello, everybody. So we have some very big royal news today, news that we've been waiting for a long time. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children are now officially Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet Mountbatten-Windsor. So we've been waiting for this. We've been wondering, and there's been so many people that said they should never be given these titles, but there are reasons for it. Apparently, there was a christening also this week that we will be talking about. But first, you kind of need to know the rules of being a royal. So we'll talk about that in 1 second. Guys, I'm DEANNA from Hot for History, and please subscribe, share this with your friends. I share royal news and honestly history that's very quirky that I bet your teachers in school never ever dared to teach you. So we're going to talk a little bit right now about the big news regarding these titles, because everybody has been asking and wondering. First, you kind of need to know the rules of being a royal heir. This was an article that was out in 2018, but I thought that it covered things really, really well. So we're going to kind of go through it. So there's new rules basically from King George V. He created a rule that restricted the use of HRH titles to only the monarch, the monarch's children and grandchildren, which meant that when Harry's children were around, when Queen Elizabeth was around, they weren't given the prince and princess titles because they were great grandchildren. So they would be given those titles once King Charles became King Charles, which was just recently, but we never got an announcement. We never had the official announcement. So they would have automatically been giving those titles, but we never heard about it until just basically today. So under those rules, Prince George would have only been legally called a prince, while Charlotte and Louis would be Lord and Lady Mountbatten-Windsor. But the Queen changed the rules in 2012, allowing all children of William and Kate to take the prince and princess titles too. So in other words, people were asking the question, hey, how come Will and Kate's kids got to be, princess and prince and not Harry and Meghan? Well, that was because the Queen had a rule, right? I believe that if they get titles, then Harry should lose his own. Yeah, they should trade. Can we take Lilibet and Archie, for the royals over Harry and Meghan? I understand what you're saying there. So the Succession of the Crown Act was a new change executed by the Queen in 2013. She made a lot of changes, which were pretty positive ones. This amended the order of succession, so it is now determined by order of birth rather than gender, which meant that Charlotte could actually be counted in line. Also, which was a great move, I think, eliminating the preference for a male heir over a female, because in the past, the heirs would always go through the male. So let's say the Queen would have had her first child would have been a girl and her second would have been a boy. Then basically what happens is that then that male would become king, right? But in her case, the reason why she became queen was because there were no male heirs, but she was the daughter of a male heir. So that's how that worked. So anyhow, then they had education rules. And then there was this Royal Marriages Act, because everybody's wondering that they used to have to get permission, and now only the first 6 in line need permission. So let's discuss what went on right now, because now what we know is that we have a new princess in town. So I woke up to this news, guys, and I was like, yeah, Archie is going to, if he's going to get a duchy, that would be fun. Okay, so I woke up to this news and I honestly thought I was being punked. I was like, wait, I know that technically they get those titles because, they would get it. But I'm like, why now? It's like all of a sudden there's been so much drama, all of the attacks, the supposed, or it depends on how you interpret it, the Netflix series, the book, yada, yada. And then the therapy session online. And you're thinking, wow, after all of this, are we actually going to see something? And all of a sudden, hey, we wake up and I'm like, whoa. And part of me, the cynical part of me is like, yeah, they knew this all along and they just wanted to make this announcement after the, what hit the fan so they can make nice. That was the cynical part of me, the part that's kind of from Chicago and lived in New York for years. I'm just saying. I don't know what you guys think, but let's read this because I want to fill you guys in with the details. It's kind, I'm going to be honest. I like this. I like that Lily, that we, she's a princess and Archie are, I like that. I do, in spite of everything. So their news, the Sussex children, Archie and Lilibet, given royal titles for prince and princess. I wonder if this was the case all along, but they were saying, please don't announce this. We'll announce it in our own time. That's what I'm wondering happened. So, because it would have happened immediately when the king became king, those titles would have immediately, they would have just automatically been prince and princess. And guys, it's not a matter of, oh my gosh, you've been bad, so take your title away. You kind of can't do that. It's like if somebody's going to be your sister-in-law, they're your sister-in-law, even if you despise them, right? So this is a title that is just, the same as brother, sister, whatever. They have this title because of the way that it works in the royal family. So a source has claimed that Buckingham Palace will update the line of succession with new titles. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's children will officially be referred to as Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. It's been confirmed. It comes after the couple christened their daughter Lilibet in a small ceremony in Montecito, California last week. The royal source told the Mirror, as the Duke and Duchess have now confirmed this, the website will now be updated in due course. So this happened last week. Did this happen before the Gabor Mate interview? Okay, let's take some questions while I'm still reading this, or comments. Just think Diana's a princess again. Okay. I wonder how the Sussex squad reconciled this in their brains. Oh, girl, I was thinking this too. For years, they've called the royal family monarchy all manner of things. I was wondering too, it seems very hypocritical. Like, okay, well, are you upset that you left Frogmore, but now you're given a castle? We're going to talk about that in a second too. But how is it that they're like, oh, I'm glad we have the titles. They're princess and prince, but we don't like what we see. Like, I don't understand it either, but okay, I don't know, Cameron. This is a good point, but I don't think it would make her illegitimate, because I don't think there's a rule on where they're born. I think it has to do with who they're born to. But that brings up a question. Okay, on the daily. Okay, let's talk. Let's dish, guys. Let's throw around some tea on the daily. But then H&M start using titles to deepen their connection to their dreaded royal family. I know I can't make it make sense, girl, because I don't understand it myself. I'm like right. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Please give me a nod. I am so sorry. I touched something and that's all I did. Just give me a nod if you guys can hear me or see me, because otherwise I feel like I'm like talking into the air, because I got disconnected for a second. Do you see me? Okay, I'm just going to pretend like you can see me and I'm going to continue. I apologize. Okay, so yay! Thank you guys for being patient. All I did was touch something. I am promising to upgrade at some point. So the spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan confirmed the occasion, said that Princess Lilibet Diana, again, like Lee mentioned, okay, we want our princess titles, but we despise where we came from in the royal family. Okay. A spokesperson, they said Lilibet Diana was christened on Friday, the 3rd of March, the day before the Gabor Mate apparently live event. I don't think so. I think that event was recorded. Just saying. By the Archbishop of Los Angeles, the Reverend John Taylor. A source claimed that King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla, as well as Prince and Princess of Wales, were invited for the ceremony, but were not in attendance. Of course, they weren't in attendance. Do you know how many details and how much logistics would have to go into them coming over here right around the coronation? A little difficult, but at least the invitation was given. It comes after the king is understood to have offered the keys to Frogmore Cottage to Andrew, who is said to be resisting any attempt to move him out of his current home. Yes, so basically there's like the scuffling around of homes, and this happens. The king requested that Harry and Meghan vacate Frogmore Cottage, which they previously used as their UK residence. He may reportedly offer them a suite of rooms at Buckingham Palace that previously belonged to Andrew. Questions over whether couple will attend. Okay, so this week they also received the invitation, guys. Okay, let's read a little bit more. It's the same old here. I want you guys to know that Tyler Perry and Doria were there, and some unnamed godmother. And apparently there was a 10-person choir singing "Oh Happy Day," as well as this little light of mine, which I think is cute. But okay, that's basically the news. And then, so let's discuss. Oh, I'm gonna definitely use Lola's comment. Let's discuss the fact that, okay, the what hit the fan, like I said, the Netflix series, the Spare, we have South Park, we have therapy online for all the world to see, discussions of how Harry was never hugged, and he's going to hug his kids. Though he gets an invitation, and he gets an invitation that's made, the announcement's made, but they're like, we're not going to disclose whether we're coming or not yet. That has not been announced. And then all of a sudden then the houses are shuffled around, and then all of a sudden it's like, voila, she's a princess and he's a prince. The day after we find out that they're most likely going to allow them to live in Buckingham Palace. So all I'm saying is, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like with Harry talking about planting and leaking, that he's planting and leaking to us, because it seems like a little bit of manipulation. Let's dig the royal family. Now let's all make nice. What I'm wondering is if they're going to use the fact that the royal family, that the king and queen did not come to the christening, to say, oh, we invited them to the christening, they didn't come, so we're not coming to the coronation, which would be very tacky. And of course, they wouldn't ever be that petty. So I don't know what you guys think, but I'm really curious. Let's take this question. Okay. Parliament really ought to do DNA test before converting. That maybe they do. Maybe they do the DNA tests. I mean, it's easy, like when they're born. That's probably why, they want like everybody, all the royal people around after they're giving birth, but maybe they already do the DNA test. I had a very interesting thought the other day. Obviously, it's far-fetched, something that people should at least think about. Obviously, Harry's like, what, 5th in line at this point? Most likely never going to become, king. However, I've been doing some, history interviews. I haven't posted them, but this great historian that I spoke to, Alexander Canducci, the other day, we were talking about the story of Richard III and the way that he was able to move around who was legitimately heir was by claiming illegitimacy to the incoming heir, right? Which would mean, the heir apparent, which would mean in Harry's case, even though he's 6th in line, God forbid, which I'm sure it's been figured out that he is indeed fully legitimate, and there hasn't been any hanky-panky with, Diana. If he was illegitimate, Harry would be the heir apparent. I'm just saying. Do you think they are? I've often thought the royal family let them go on the understanding they come back. I don't know if they're ever going to come back, Lee, to like actually do their business. However, it does seem like, okay, we were in the punching match. We got to beat the crap out of them. Now we have 2 months before the big day. Let's start to smooth things over. Let's say, let's smooth it over. And so one of the ways that they're smoothing it over was the king. Okay, we're taking Frogmore Cottage, but we're giving you a palace. I just did a live on that. Personally, I think it sounds like an upgrade. They may not think of it as an upgrade, but heck, if I had a gorgeous home in Montecito with plenty of land and I wanted to go over to the UK and have fun, London is a blast. You have an apartment, meaning several rooms in a palace in London. I wouldn't mind bringing my kids. Oh, but they may not have place to play. Oh, you can just take a little car out to Windsor and visit your cousins and have a blast there, or go over to the park. park is right next door. Yeah, you might need some bodyguards, but London in a palace. Oh, but there's going to be tourists there and they're doing construction for a long time. I'm sorry. They're giving you a palace apartment. Take it. Don't sound so all entitled. Just do it. Hopefully this is a treaty. Yeah. Okay. So I want to take a little head count. Let me know. Hopefully this is a treaty and no more damage gets done. I want to know what you guys think, because I sound probably like I'm waffling, because on the one hand, it's like I want reconciliation. On the other hand, I can be like a lot of my British friends who are like, let them stay at the Super 8 or the Motel 6. I understand, but I think reconciliation, especially when you have a monarch, a king who's this old, I mean, he's in his 70s, he's going to have to do some damage control before Will becomes king, because I don't think there'll be any turning back. If Will becomes king soon, I think Harry will be done for. He won't have the kind of compassion and love and all of that the king is showing him. The king kind of just wants his family to come together. Okay, I'm furious. Okay, over King Charles validating those two, giving the children prince and princess. I know. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe it is blackmail. Maybe they're like, hey, you better give them the title or I'm going to tell them about the time that you did whatever. It's possible. But listen, he can't just all of a sudden say you're not a princess. It's not like that. It's not like they're giving them a duchy or whatever. There's no precedent, I don't think, for like punishing people for having been bad as a royal. If they're in the family line, they just have the title. They can be a bad prince and princess. They can be bad. They can be like, persona non grata, but they're still going to have that title. So, but I don't think blackmail would be something that is out of the question. I don't know if you guys heard this, but regarding Queen Camilla's title, there's a rumor out there. I'm not going to say it's true, but there's a rumor out there that the Queen Elizabeth II vehemently did not want it to be queen consort or whatever. She wanted her to be like a princess consort, similar to Prince Philip, not the queen title at all. Well, rumor has it that what happened was that around the time that Andrew needed his cash, his millions to settle his little problem, that money had to be taken out of some of King Charles's money, right? And he said, fine, mummy, but then the queen needs the title. Again, this is a rumor. I don't know, but that's a little bit of playing around, playing the game. There's a lot of negotiation. So I'm not going to say that what you're saying couldn't be true. I'm sure there's a lot of that. But as far as their titles, I think that it's just that they would just be given the titles, period. Okay. Plus, doesn't Charles want to slim down the monarchy? I don't believe it one bit. You don't believe that they're given the titles yet? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's all over the news. In 1833, Britain used 40% of its natural to buy freedom for all slaves in the empire. Britain borrowed such a large amount of money for slavery that it wasn't paid off until recently. I heard, honestly, that official freedom was very late it was very late. Very, honestly, until just the past 10 years. That's a whole other subject. It's a eye-opening thing that people should really study globally, even in the United States, as far as our trade that we had with African imports. Where did it come from? It came from that same family and the same. So it was the Brits that kind of started things. I'm just saying. Okay. But wait. I don't want to go all. I'd love to talk about this more, but I'm not going to go into it that much because there's so much going on. Only the past 10 years. Nice. I couldn't believe this was all for titles. They'll play ball now. Divorce countdown. Well, we're watching. I mean, I don't know how they would stand this pressure. And Meghan's probably waiting to get her princess title. I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's going to remain the Duchess. The Duchess. Okay, the Portuguese started okay, Lee, we'll go into that another time. It's good stuff, but okay. So do you think, I know somebody said that they were furious about this, JS. should have been checked before giving titles. The DNA should have been checked. Hopefully this is a treaty, no more damage. That's how I feel, Kay. I feel like can we just play nice? I want to see the happy ending, but I don't know. The happy ending would need a lot of transformation. I mean, I don't think the Harry Meghan thing passes the smell test for me. It just doesn't. However, these children are literally royal children. They indeed are. They are. I mean, it bothers me that Archie shouldn't be there for his birthday, even though it's the coronation. And just basically, I would make it all about Archie. If I was the mom, I'd be like, yeah, your grandpa's going to become a king, but you know what? You're a prince. And this is what it looks like. Like, I'm sorry, I would indulge my children and make them understand the relevance of their own personal history. Like, I do that with my own kids. Like, look, you were related to so-and-so. And this is an opportunity for him to remember this his whole life, because he will not remember his grandfather very much. I mean, unless his grandpa lives, hopefully, like into his 90s or whatever. But make it a big deal. Make it a big deal. Bring out your princess. Like, come on, make it a big deal. Let them know. You don't have to have them in the coronation. You could maybe make them think that they have their own little crowns and their own little party in their room, and then bring them out to the reception. But in the actual ceremony, it might be too boring, although King Charles did sit through that when he was four for his mother. So let's see what you guys think, and then we're going to call it a day. But yeah, I mean, I think go ahead, prince and princess, but this to me means bring them on. Please come to Buckingham Palace for the coronation. Put on your big boy panties, even if you're going to get booed, come on, get a little bit of a thicker skin and just deal with it. Like, if they're going to boo you and yell at you, so what? At least you'll be present for an event for your dad, which is a historic event. It's actually going to make you look better if that's something that you're concerned with. It's going to make you look better. Even if they boo at you, it's going to make you look like you have some strength and that you have a little bit of grit and that you're trying to reconcile and that you're a man of your word when you say, I love my family. I don't know if you've seen that guy, Ari, online. He's so funny, but I love my family. I love them. Like, if you love them, then go there and try to make amends. You could always break your own personal contract where you say, oh my gosh, they have to apologize first. Just break that contract, decide that there's some kind of new terms. Okay, so I have a new comment and then we're going to go. Thank you so much for the super chat, Grumpy Lizzie. I love that name. I was surprised I could get on this early because I'm usually grumpy this early and I didn't sleep very well because we're about to launch, guys, some longer form video and it takes a lot more things. So I appreciate all of your support, guys. I will try to come on again, but I think personally, I think it's exciting that we have a little princess and I just wish we had more pictures. I know they're trying to protect their family. But I laugh because there's a lot of irony in them. I don't think the king has just granted the titles under. Okay, hold on. I don't think the king has just granted the titles under letters patent. Once Charles became king, they got the yes, that is true. The king could change it and deny them titles. They are just starting to use them. So yeah. So in other words, I think you're saying what I'm saying is that it happens. The king became king, so they became prince and princess. But there was some manipulation. Harry's always complaining about manipulation of the royal, like with the media. But I also think they knew, and this was something that was given to them a long time ago, and they're just kind of making it a thing now with the christening. And maybe they said to the king, okay, great, they're prince and princess, but can we just hold off on announcing this? It's for another time. I think that's probably what happened. They should have just ignored them. I mean, they kind of have ignored them a lot, but now the king is just lavishing them. I call him the king of kindness. I know he's probably got a really weird history and he's got a really bad temper, like when the ink gets on his fingers, but it seems like, according to his children, like he sort of is. I mean, that could be Harry's problem in some ways, even though he wasn't hugged a lot. It seems like the king just lavishes him with stuff. Fine, let him go. Like he hasn't had any real boundaries to have to deal with. as far as behavior. Obviously, within the royal family, he had to ask for money and all that, but whatever. Okay, guys, Hot for History. Thank you guys for all of your support, and we will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.